Hello, candle lovers! Thank you so much for tuning in to me today. My name is Greg, and this is all about candles. Happy Sunday, everyone. Every Sunday, I like to do the weekly wax wrap-up. This is when I go through all of the candles that I finished burning this week, and I talk a little bit about how they smelled, how they performed, all of that good stuff. I've got a lot of candles to get through this week. I couldn't do a weekly wax wrap-up last weekend because I was away in Vancouver. I've missed you guys. I know I've been MIA lately. I'll get into where I've been and what I've been doing at the end of this video, but let's get into some of these candles. I do have full-length reviews out for a lot of these, so if you're interested in checking those out, I will link to them below. The weekly wax wrap-up videos do tend to get pretty lengthy sometimes. I mark everything with chapters, so if you'd like, you can skip forward to the parts of the video that you're most interested in. Let's get right into it. I finished up this book Loft from Bath and Body Works. I wasn't obsessed with the packaging on this collection. It looks a little, I don't know, childish to me, but I thought it was pleasant enough. You know I always love it when we get a colored lid, so there's that at least. I had burned Book Loft once before, and I enjoyed it enough. I enjoyed it to want to try again this year. The scent notes on it just say, pair your favorite book with notes of crisp bergamot, woods, and a warm blanket. Now, to be honest with you folks, these scent notes are not really what I pick up from this candle, and I know a lot of people consider this to be like a very sort of cozy fragrance, but there's actually something about it that comes across as quite kind of stern for me, but I still enjoy it a fair bit. I pick up heavily on like a tea note in this, and I know that tea isn't mentioned in here or really anything herbaceous, but I just don't completely agree with these scent notes. I don't pick up on the bergamot. There is definitely something a little woodsy, and a warm blanket sort of signals there is sort of a cashmere linen kind of vibe in here, but I also pick up on a bit of a tea fragrance, something herbaceous, and a little bit of like a light sort of dusty floral as well. I think the woodsiness kind of gives it that sort of old, worn, pages of a book kind of vibe. And yeah, I really like this fragrance. Not one of my favorites, but I've enjoyed burning it both times that I've burned it. This performed pretty well. It was a really nice clean burn all the way down till I could see the wick nickels there. No complaints at all about how it burned. It never dudded out. It never gave me itty bitty wicks and teeny tiny flames. But I do think that this version of the candle was a little bit lighter than the previous version that I burned. The last version of Book Loft that I burned looked like this, and I really think that that version was a little bit stronger than this one was. Yeah, I'd say that in my more open space, this was about a 6 perhaps, and then I had it in the bedroom for a little while and it was around a 6.5. So for me, that is still acceptable strength and throw. I wasn't too mad at it, but I feel like this one has become a little bit weaker, But it's a nice fragrance, nice clean burning candle, no massive complaints overall. That is Book Loft. I also finished up burning an Acorn Lane, and this was Bath and Body Works giving us a camping sort of moment. They released 2 kind of like camping outdoorsy collections at the beginning of fall this year. I also really enjoyed Sunlit Trails, which showed up in this collection. I know this candle came out a while back. I just don't really remember it that well. I don't think I had burned it before, to be honest with you. So I wanted to give it a try this year. I know a lot of people have said this is one of their favorites. A lot of people in my comment section really looking forward to this candle coming back. So I wanted to give it a try. The scent notes on it are autumn leaves, warm cinnamon, and crisp gala apples. And yeah, I do think that there is something about this fragrance which is just a little bit basic, but it's basic in a really kind of lovely way. It's a well-balanced apple cinnamon candle, and the cinnamon note is a little bit stronger than I generally like a cinnamon fragrance to be, but something about the way it was balanced out with the apple in here really actually did appeal to me, and this candle performed quite well also. I burned it all the way down until I could see the wick nickels. There was nothing left. Really nice clean burn, never dudded out or gave me any issues in that regard. And I'd say that the strength and throw on this was probably like a 6 in a more open space, but it definitely got up to like a 7 or a 7.5 in smaller areas. I took this on a work trip with me a little while ago, and in the little hotel room I was staying in, it was really quite strong. It was definitely getting up to like a 7, maybe even a 7.5, and the fragrance really lingered as well. You know, I would blow this candle out in the evening before I went to bed, get up the next morning, go out for like 7 or 8 hours, come back at like 4 or 5 o'clock, walk into the room, and I could still smell the cinnamon. It was very permeating actually, and honestly a pretty decent candle, even though not my favorite, like fragrance wise. I'd have to say this was a great candle, and I do think I might actually repurchase it sometime. Probably wait until next year and see if it comes out again next year. Not one of those candles that I'm like desperate to like hoard and stock up on, but I can see why so many people like this one. I do think it was a really successful candle, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. I also finished up this Mahogany Vanilla. This is an older Mahogany Vanilla from like a couple summers ago. I liked this summer collection. I'm actually also burning a summer boardwalk candle right now that was part of this collection. Nice packaging. There is kind of a nice texture to this, and it actually looked really nice when it was burning. I talk about this candle a lot on my channel, folks. You all know I love woodsy fragrances and I love vanilla fragrances, so this is just right up my alley. Looks like this candle was poured in 2023, and the scent notes on it are warm vanilla, fresh bergamot, and sweet sandalwood. I've never really picked up on the bergamot in this candle, like at all. Like nothing sort of fruity or zesty or citrusy whatsoever, at least for me. This is a very, very sweet but rich and woodsy vanilla fragrance. I just love it. I actually think that if they put this out in a cologne, I would buy the cologne. I'd love to get this in like a shower gel as well. I just love this fragrance so much. I love a lot of the mahogany fragrances from Bath & Body Works, like Mahogany Coconut, I think is a really good one as well. And so this candle, it's fairly low in range, which I love. I love sort of deeper, richer, lower ranging fragrances. This one's just lovely. It's so rich and woodsy, and it is really quite sweet. Like, it's extremely sweet, but it's balanced out real well with that creamy sandalwood note in the base. Yeah, I just love it. This candle burned really well too, actually. I burned it all the way down until the end, and I could see the wick nickels. I'm actually thinking I might put this little bit left under a candle lamp tonight and get the rest of the fragrance out of it. It did do a little bit of itty bitty wicks and teeny tiny flames around the halfway point, but I just let it ride it out and it fixed itself and it was fine. Right at the end there, when the whole candle had liquefied, it did start to get just a teeny bit discolored. I caught a little bit of soot coming off of it at one point, so I just decided to call it a day. I'd say that the strength and throw on this candle is usually pretty good. Like in my more open space, it's definitely getting to like a 6 or a 6.5. It's a very, very rich sort of room filling fragrance. Not necessarily filling an open space, but I also really enjoy this candle in the bedroom. I do think there's something a little bit sexy about this fragrance, just like the balance of like the sweetness and like the robust like woodsiness of it just really does it for me. So I love Mahogany Vanilla in the bedroom, and in there in a more smaller to medium-ish space, I'd say it's getting up easily to like a 7 or a 7.5. I just love this one. Oh, it's one of those fragrances I could just like sit around and smell it all day long. In fact, in my candle closet right now for fall, I think I have 3 different mahogany vanilla candles that I plan on going through. I picked up so many mahogany vanillas in this packaging. This new fall packaging I just think is stunning. I think this is the nicest packaging that mahogany vanilla has ever come out in. So I bought like 4 or 5 of those candles a while back when they had the really good 3-wick candle sale. I just can't get enough of that fragrance. I go through one probably almost every month. And also for me, this isn't a fragrance that is really that seasonal. I will burn this winter, spring, summer, and fall, baby. I love it. Now, here's an interesting one. I also finished burning Gwen's Note, and I just loved this candle. This was Black History Month. Like the Black History Month collection in February, like a year or 2 ago, and I loved all of the candles in this collection. Even the gourmand one, which was kind of like a chocolatey gourmand fragrance. What was it called? My Sweet Sisters. I even liked that fragrance. My favorite was You, Me, and the Sea. You, Me, and the Sea might be one of my favorite Bath & Body Works candles of all time. I also loved Anna's Garden, and Gwen's Note I thought was really good as well. The scent notes on it are creamy sandalwood, sage, and soft lavender. Oh, this is so lovely. Now, I do remember when this candle came out, there was a big controversy. I don't know if it was a batch issue or, I'm assuming it was a batch issue. Something must have happened because everybody I noticed, like in the States, everybody was saying this candle had a really like off-putting smell to it. I can't remember exactly what the complaint was. It just smelled kind of funky or chemically or alcohol-ish. I remember everybody pretty much across the board was just like, this candle stinks. But when I went into the store to smell it, I thought it was absolutely lovely. I do think that the Bath & Body Works candles that are sold in Canada are produced and made here in Canada. I've heard that before from a sales associate. And also, the packaging is quite different on the candles that get made in Canada. We have like a million different languages on the bottoms of our candles, as well as French and English on the front label. So I think it must have been a batch issue because I just thought that this candle smelled lovely right from the get-go. And I did notice that some people in the States that had purchased it changed their opinion of it once they sort of burned down in the candle a little bit. So I'm not exactly too sure what happened there, but this Black History Month collection was fabulous. The perfumer was Gwen Gonzalez, and the design was Katria Jutkins. And there's actually a note on here from Gwen, but I can't read it because of the lighting. What does it say? It says, sandalwood is one of my favorite materials of my personal palette. The intriguing dualities of warm and cool, caring and sensual elements have made it a signature note that I use in many of my creations. I just absolutely love this fragrance. I thought it was so lovely, and it really does smell. I really do get the vibe from this candle because it's so unique, but it's also quite palatable and a little bit perfumey. And it really does give me the sense that this perfumer really did do what she wanted, and really crafted something unique and interesting. I'd say that it's a woodsy floral predominantly, and the sandalwood note in the base of it is so lovely and rich and creamy. And the lavender note on top is a really soft and a little bit sweet, like a sweeter lavender note than I think most of us are used to, and a little bit delicate as well. And then there's a really nice herbaceous component to this candle, which is the sage, and that gives it a really lovely sort of depth and added complexity that takes it from just being a woodsy floral to something really unique and lovely. I just love this fragrance. And I don't think we're ever gonna see this candle come back. If it were to come back, I would buy another one in a heartbeat, but I just don't know if that's gonna happen. This is actually one of those candles that I'm gonna hang on to this. I'm gonna hang on to this tiny little bit of wax that is left in here, just so I can like hang on to it and smell it once in a while and remember it. I just thought that it was so lovely. The candle performed really nicely too. Burnt all the way down to the wick nickels. There was nothing left. I don't think this candle ever really gave me dud-out issues, itty bitty wicks, teeny tiny flames. I seem to remember it actually burning quite hot and fast and needing to limit the burn times on it a little bit. I'd say that for strength and throw, in my more open space, I do remember wishing it had been a little bit stronger. I think in my more open area, it was doing about a 5.5 for strength and throw. So it was detectable, you know, it had a presence to it. I wish it had been a little bit more. So I actually burned this candle mostly in my bedroom, and it was perfect strength and throw in there, getting to about a 6.5. I thought this candle was just lovely. Oh. Yeah, I really loved Gwen's note. I hope that we see it come back. I hope that they end up reinstating the Black History Month collection, and I would love for this collection, this whole collection, to come back in February. Gwen's note, Anna's Garden, Yumi and the Sea, My Sweet Sisters. I thought they were all fabulous fragrances, and I said at the time I thought it was one of the best Bath & Body Works candle collections that they had put out that entire year. Although, if I remember correctly, it was a pretty, like, dry year for Bath & Body Works, or a pretty dry, like, first quarter. Anyways, then I finished off this pumpkin bonfire from BBW. I wasn't a huge fan of the packaging on this collection, but I thought they were nice. I enjoy the sort of simplicity and kind of simple, like, contemporary look to this collection. Nothing too special, though. Wasn't thrilled with the way that the text box sort of looks or the use of color. I really did like the lid on this one, though. I think that this lid is really lovely. Pumpkin Bonfire is one of my favorite pumpkin candles from Bath & Body Works. I'm not a big like pumpkin guy, but there's a couple from BBW that I love every year. I love Pumpkin Bonfire. I love Pumpkin Carving, White Pumpkin, and Oak Wood. If I was really pressed to choose my favorite pumpkin fragrance from them, though, it would probably be Pumpkin Bonfire. The scent notes on it are white pumpkin, a bundle of clove buds, and glowing embers. Oh, this is just so good. Oh, I love this fragrance. The clove in here is really quite pronounced. So if you're not a fan of clove fragrances and that sort of sharp, pungent, vibe that clove gives off, I would probably stay away from this one. There is absolutely a sort of fiery, woodsy ember vibe in here as well. And I don't think there's really a lot of actual pumpkin in here. And in fact, the scent notes say white pumpkin. And whenever Bath & Body Works says white pumpkin, what that fragrance generally is like a chai fragrance. And to me, this is kind of like a smoky, like campfire chai fragrance. But with that clove. The clove is what really gives it a nice punch and makes all the difference. Not only is this my favorite like pumpkin candle from BBW, but I think it might also be my favorite sort of smoky, fire-ish, like fireside type candle as well. I just think that it's perfectly balanced. It sits a little bit in a lower to like a medium range, but there is also sort of the spices up in the top range of this fragrance just balance it out perfectly. I really love it. The performance on this candle, however, was a bit of a mixed bag. I did burn it all the way down until there was nothing left and I could see the wick nickels. The first couple of burns on this candle were a big struggle and I was very worried. Like as soon as I lit the wicks, I was like, oh, this looks like it's gonna be problematic. Like those wicks were just barely alive. Like the flames, it was itty bitty wicks and teeny tiny flames right from the get-go. They were kind of those short, like thick, like tree stubby wicks. As soon as I lit it, I was like, this looks very problematic. And sure enough, I think I let the first burn go for like 3 or 4 hours and it was just barely pooled out at that point. I mean, this was very, very slow to start. And then the second burn was a struggle as well. I did trim off just sort of like the top, like hard piece of carbon at the tip of the wicks before the second burn. So I did trim the wick a little bit because I felt like I had to. The second burn was the same thing. Took like 3 or 4 hours just to like pool out and get like a smaller wax pool. And then the third burn, it managed to start picking up some steam considerably and started really doing its thing. And then it was pretty smooth sailing for the rest of the candle until we got to about this point here, and it was itty bitty wicks and teeny tiny flames. And so I let the last burn on this candle go off for a really long time until the entire candle had liquefied. And as you can see, it caused a little bit of discoloration in the wax pool there. And it was much better than last year's though. I remember burning this candle last year. It was in packaging that looked like this. And that was a struggle bus for the entire candle. Like just, it was a dud out from like start to finish, and it was really, really disappointing. And in fact, the full length review that I will link to below if you want to check it out was actually of last year's pumpkin bonfire, and it was definitely a struggle. This one did better than last year's for sure. I'd say that the strength and throw oscillated a fair bit depending on how the burn was doing. The first 2 burns I was getting very little out of it, but I'd say that the majority of the burns ended up in like the 6 to the 7 range. I'd say like a 6 in my more open space and a 7 in the bedroom, so it was acceptable. I wish they would figure this candle out. I feel like this is the second or third year now that this has been kind of a problematic candle. I think the issue is the wicks, because we've got white wax on this candle, and usually white wax, you know, we can see the thin core wicks, or we can see the flat curling wicks, or the thick ropey wicks. I do wonder if maybe if they're pouring this candle in white wax, if they could use the thin core wicks on it, maybe it would help with the burn. I mean, I don't know. I don't work for Bath & Body Works. I'm not a scientist. But yeah, I wish they would figure this candle out. Here's hoping to next year, because I do love you, Pumpkin Bonfire. All right, moving on. I am still burning quite a few summer candles, folks. I mean, I know we're like halfway through September now, but here in Calgary, it is like 25 degrees Celsius. It is a very hot, warm end to the summer. And so even though I've started kind of easing into fall, I've still got a lot of summer candles to finish up. And one of my favorite summer candles from Bath & Body Works is Bronzed Sunset. And I just thought that this collection was gorgeous. I picked up so many of these Bronzed Sunset candles, and Turquoise Waters also came out in this collection, which looked pretty similar, but with like a light blue color scheme. We had kind of a neat lid on this one as well. I love Bronzed Sunset, you guys. The scent notes on it are exotic coconut, island waves, and soft musk. And this is definitely one of those kind of like, almost like fluffy, kind of, I think there's some neroli in here, even though we don't get a neroli scent note in here. I definitely think there's a considerable amount of neroli, which sort of gives it that sort of thick, almost kind of sunscreen kind of vibe. It is a fairly low-ranging fragrance. It is very musky, which I think sort of gives it that sort of skin, sort of sunscreen feeling as well. That muskiness as well as the neroli definitely contributes to that sunscreen. However, I keep saying sunscreen. I mean, it smells like a really, really nice, like high-end sunscreen, you know, almost like a Sol de Janeiro type of vibe. And there is obviously a fair bit of coconut in here too, and it's a really lovely coconut. It's not a really highly pitched, fruity coconut. It's like a deeper, creamier, really smooth coconut. I feel like it's like the neroli up in the top, the coconut in the middle, and then this nice kind of musky sort of wateriness in the base of the fragrance. Yeah, I just love this one so much. And we did not get this back this summer, which I was very upset about. I'm really upset about a lot of the candles that we did not get from Bath and Body Works this summer. It almost felt like they just skipped over summer completely. So I was glad to have a couple of these left in my stash to burn. I feel like this year they replaced Bronze Sunset with this new one called Sunlit Glow? Was it Sunset Glow? No, Sunlit Glow. This was the new candle that came out, I feel like, instead of Bronzed Sunset this year. And they were very, very similar fragrances, except Sunlit Glow, I think, had a little bit more neroli and was even a little bit like darker almost, except Sunlit Glow did not perform very well at all. It performed terribly. I have a review out there for it. I don't remember exactly, but it was really, really bad strength and throw. Whereas Bronze Sunset, for me, has always done quite well for strength and throw. And it was a beautiful burn too. I burned it all the way down till the bottom there. I could not go any further because the entire candle had liquefied, and as you can see, the wicks started to drift a little bit. So I had to blow it out and call her a day. I'd say that in my more open space, this is a good like 6, maybe almost a 6.5. In a more open space, definitely has a presence to it. Just goes great on like a hot, like humid summer day. You know what I mean? And in the bedroom, this gets up to like a 7 quite easily. You know, definitely reasonable strength and throw. This will absolutely be a repurchase for me if they ever bring it back. I love Bronzed Sunset. And why did they have to do that Sunlit Glow this summer instead? I mean, it's funny because we complain when we don't get new candles from Bath and Body Works, but then we also complain when candles that we like don't come back from Bath and Body Works. But why replace Bronzed Sunset with an inferior candle? Then I think we can all agree that we would just prefer the original sort of neroli, coconut, sunscreeny, musky situation. You know what I mean? Yeah, oh, I love that one so much. And in a similar sort of vibe to that candle, I also finished up this Jungle Palm Trees from Goose Creek. And this candle was part of this sort of dark, like moody tropics collection from Goose Creek this summer. And this was my favorite collection that they put out this summer. There were so many candles in this collection that I really liked. The design on this is just fabulous. And the candle looked great when it was burning as well. The scent notes on Jungle Palm Trees are jungle palm leaves, sweet bamboo, and dewy apple. Man, I love this one. This is another sort of thick fragrance, like a thick, humid, tropical fragrance. I pick up on a little bit of musk in this fragrance also, which isn't listed. It's a very jungly bamboo, slightly funky green fragrance. Like a lot of lush jungle greenery going on in here, but it's balanced out quite nicely with a little bit of a sweet apple note, and I enjoy the balance of that. Like, there is definitely something about this fragrance that gets a little bit funky, you know, like, and I think that part of it has to do with, there's a little bit of funk in that, like, bamboo kind of grassy note, but then pairing that with the apple gives it a little bit of a sweetness, but it's also kind of comes across as, the fragrances in here kind of juxtapose each other a little bit, which I think makes it even funkier than just your typical sort of jungle palm tree type of fragrance. Do you know what I mean? Like, the balance of the funky like bamboo note and the sweet apple is really interesting to me, and I like it a lot, although I don't know if this would necessarily be a fragrance for everybody. It's definitely the type of fragrance that is right up my alley, and man, I enjoyed burning this candle a lot. I mean, if I were to put it in Bath and Body Works terms, imagine if you were to take the fresh bamboo candle and do a mashup with like that, what was that spring apple candle that came out? It was in like green packaging. I think it was just called spring apple or sweet spring apple. I feel like if you were to mash that up with fresh bamboo from Bath and Body Works, but it would be like 25% sweet apple and like 75% fresh bamboo. I feel like that's kind of the vibe of this. Yeah, oh, I loved it. This candle performed really well too. Oh, it absolutely had a strong presence to it. I burned it all the way down until I could see the wick nickels. A really nice clean burn, especially for a Goose Creek candle. I do limit the burns on my Goose Creek candles usually to like 2 hours. Like 2 hours is the maximum for me with Goose Creek candles, or else you can end up with a fair bit of like discoloration and sooting. But I had no issues with this one. Really beautiful, nice, strong burn as well. I'd say the strength and throw in my more open space was a very solid 8. Like an 8 for strength and throw in a more open area. Like this candle, she ain't shy. She was not shy at all. I never even put it into a smaller space because I was really happy having it in my bigger living area, and it was like pretty room filling in my more open concepts. So yeah, Jungle Palm Trees was a good one. This is gonna be a repurchase for me, absolutely. I also finished up this Midnight Vanilla from Goose Creek, and this candle looks a lot like, kind of duping the White Barn collection from Bath and Body Works. I love it though. I think it's great. I love the shape of the label on the front, and I sort of like the ceramic kind of opaqueness of the jars that they put this collection in. They do look like Bath and Body Works White Barn candles though. Someone in my comment section when I was hauling this collection called it the White Shed collection. I thought that was really funny. This was the second time that I had burned this candle. I ordered 2 of them right off the bat because this was a new fragrance for Goose Creek. I ordered 2 of them like right away because I was convinced I was gonna love it. Unfortunately, I didn't love it. I liked it well enough for sure. My expectations, I think, kind of set me up to be a little bit disappointed. I wish there had been a little bit more vanilla in this fragrance. The scent notes on it are golden tobacco, rich cocoa, and smooth vanilla. And you get a lot of that tobacco note, but I also detect a fair bit of cinnamon in this fragrance, and that's not listed in here. I can't really say I pick up that much on the cocoa. There is sort of a smooth sweetness to it. I think saying midnight is spot on. I would have maybe just called this candle Midnight Tobacco though, because I do feel like we're missing out a little bit on the vanilla. I would not classify this as a vanilla candle first and foremost. I'd say it's mostly like the tobacco and the cinnamon that you pick up on, especially when it's burning. I liked it, but I was just disappointed because my expectation was that it was going to be a really vanilla forward candle. I really wanted it to be kind of a tobacco, like leafy but smoky vanilla fragrance, but I really felt like the tobacco and the unlisted like sort of cinnamony note in here kind of took over the fragrance a little bit. But I enjoyed it, honestly. I enjoyed the first one enough to not want to give this one away. I burned it again, and I perfectly enjoyed it. I burned it all the way down until I could see the wick nickels. There was nothing left on there. Really, once again, a really, really nice, clean burn for a Goose Creek candle. A little bit of murky sort of swirliness at the end on the last burn there. But overall, it did really, really well. I'd say that the strength and throw on this candle was probably like a 6, maybe a 6.5 in my bedroom, maybe like a 5.5 or a 6 in my more open space, and like a 6 or a 6.5 in the bedroom. So it had reasonable strength and throw. It had a presence to it. It was by no means a powerhouse though. And so once again, my expectations, a candle Midnight Vanilla from Goose Creek, I would expect it to be like a 7 for strength and throw and really vanilla forward, but it just wasn't quite that. Don't think that I'll repurchase it again, but I really did enjoy burning it twice. And now I have an apple cheesecake cupcake from Goose Creek. Folks, I cannot explain what it is about this fragrance that I love so much. This is the second or third time that I've burned apple cheesecake cupcake from Goose Creek. I actually really like the packaging on it. This was sort of a fun kind of summery gourmand collection that Goose Creek put out. I love the bright, cute, fun fun packaging on here. And I love this fragrance. I burned it for the first time last year. This is not the type of fragrance that is usually up my alley. I'm not a huge fan of apple fragrances. I do like some apple, especially in the fall. Apple's not my favorite. Gourmand's not my favorite like fragrance category either, but something about this candle just works for me. The scent notes are sweet apple topping, cheesecake custard filling, and frosted vanilla cupcake. Man, this one smells tasty. It really does smell like a cheesecake. There's definitely like a fairly prominent lactonic note in this fragrance. And so that might be my word of warning to anyone that hasn't tried this fragrance before. I find that a lot of people feel that fragrances with a lactonic note in them can come across as quite a little bit sour to some people. And I totally get that. But for me, it's not a sourness that kind of bothers me. It really does smell like an apple cheesecake cupcake, which is not something that I've ever had before. I did not know apple cheesecake cupcakes were a thing, but they are a thing as far as Goose Creek's fragrance factory is concerned, and I'm all here for it. It's actually fairly low in the register, and the apple note is up top, and then there's like a creamy lactonic custard note in the middle of the fragrance, and then the base of it is sort of a smooth vanilla. There isn't really a lot in here that's like starchy, you know, like I don't get a lot of the cake from that cupcake. I mostly get like the apple sort of cheesecake filling vibe from this. Maybe that's why this is a gourmand that I enjoy. I'm not a huge fan of super starchy, like bready, cupcakey, or cakey in general fragrances, whereas this is much more focused on what I think the topping would be on that cupcake, you know? And it's really nice, and a fabulous candle as well. It burned really well. It did get fairly discolored right at the end there. I burned it all the way down until the entire thing had liquefied, and so when I could look down and see the wick nickels at the bottom of the candle, it had started to get quite a bit discolored by that point, and so I blew it out and called it a day, but overall not bad. There's really only this much left in here, and the strength and throw on this candle was pretty good as well. I'd say this was like in my more open space, like a 7 for strength and throw, easily a 7. Definitely had a presence to it. I really think this is a fairly like unique fall gourmand fragrance. I also think this fragrance works pretty well for like transitional, like end of summer, heading into fall. Yeah, I like this one a lot, you guys. Not the type of candle that is usually up my alley, but someone told me to give it a try. I think it was probably Summer over at Fragrance Junkie. You know, she always is recommending great Goose Creek candles to me. She probably told me that I'd actually really like it, and as usual, she was 100% correct. Really do like this fragrance, and it will be a repurchase for me. And this one also, this burned better than last year's. The full-length review that I will link to below was last year's apple cheesecake cupcake, and it didn't do terribly, but it didn't burn great. Regardless, they seem to improve it a little bit over the burn that I had off of last year's, so that's good. Anyways, that's all I've got for candles this week, folks. 9 candles. They were all Bath & Body Works and Goose Creek candles too. Part of the reason for that is that I've been traveling for work so much, and I do find the easiest candles for me to take when I travel are like the 3 wicks from Goose Creek and Bath & Body Works. I can just like wrap them up in a t-shirt, and they sort of fit nicely into like the ridge of my suitcase, and I can take 2 or 3 with me, and I've never had any problems. Whereas like carting around like big apothecary jars from like Village Candle or Yankee Candle is just not, you know, not as easy to do. That Book Loft candle. I think I might get another Book Loft too. So yeah, anyways, lots of Bath & Body Works and Goose Creek. For next week's weekly wax wrap up, I'm gonna have a bit more variety. I have got quite a few Village candles and Yankee candles with like this much left on them that I'm gonna try to get through burning this week. So I think next week I'm gonna have a bit more of an interesting variety for us. Let's talk a little bit about some candle company news, stuff going on at Bath and Body Works. They just released that Milk Bar collaboration. I have never heard of Milk Bar before. I guess it's like a cake or a goodies cupcake type company in the States or something. I had never heard of it before. And so I don't think that we're gonna be getting these Milk Bar candles up here in Canada, because it looks like they were released yesterday in the States. But before filming this video, I checked on our website and we still don't have it up there. So I think we might be getting left out of this one up here in Canada, probably because I don't think anybody up here knows what Milk Bar is. I'm not heartbroken over it. I mean, it's probably a decent like cakey vanilla fragrance, and I do love vanilla fragrances, so I'd be interested to check it out, and I'd probably buy one and try it just for curiosity's sake, but I'm not exactly heartbroken if we aren't getting it. I have seen a couple people post videos of it already. If you want to see a store walkthrough of all the Milk Bar stuff, I really suggest checking out Sarah Starr. She does fabulous store walkthroughs, and she did a whole little video showing off the Milk Bar like floor set. And I also think I just saw on my feed that Kent has posted his sort of first sniff impression video of the candle on his candle channel. So you should check those out if you're interested. But I did actually just pick up a Bath and Body Works order. I placed this order on Friday and just picked it up this morning because over the weekend up here in Canada, they gave us a 40% off the entire store sale, which I was not expecting. I didn't hear that this was coming. And on Friday, when I saw it was happening, I checked the American website, and it doesn't look like you folks down there got the 40% off the entire store sale. And so I thought to myself, ooh, 40% off the entire store. This is probably my opportunity to get the ceramic candles and those Evil Queen candles if I want them. And I did kind of want to try some of them, more or less just because of curiosity. I did pick up the Mahogany Teakwood ceramic candle. I picked up one of the Vanilla Bean ceramic candles. I picked up the Pink Lavender and Espresso. I actually think this is a really, really cute, pretty single wick here. And I loved the colored wax on this one. I love Pink Lavender and Espresso, so I couldn't resist. And of course, I had to grab those Disney villains, good old Maleficent and good old Evil Queen. Now, I do think that, I mean, these price points, so the ceramic candles here in Canada were $34.95, which I hear is cheaper than what you guys are getting in the States, but the Evil Queen candles were like $44. They were like $42.95 or $43.95, and to be honest with you guys, the only thing that really is special about them are like this holographic lid. You know, like the wraparounds, they're nice enough, but I mean, $42.95 really seems steep when it's just a pretty regular looking wraparound with a lid that's not even really that fancy. It's just a metallic, like metal lid with a holographic image in the middle of them. But anyways, I managed to get myself a really good deal. Since it was 40% off the entire store, I also had some bounce back coupons. It's 10 off 40. So in Canada, we always get bounce back coupons every time that we shop at the store. If you spend more than $40, you get a 10 off 40 for next time. But what's interesting is that a lot of the time they don't have like an individual code. The code right now is actually just vanilla. So if anyone wants to place an order off of the Bath and Body Works website in Canada, you can just use the code vanilla to get $10 off. So what I did, because I'm a sneaky hooker, is I placed two orders. I placed one order with the two Evil Queens and one order with the two ceramic candles. And so then 40% off plus an extra 10 off 40 times 2 got all of these candles underneath the $20 mark, which I figured, you know what? $42.95 is ridiculous to me, but I don't have a problem spending $20 on a decent Bath and Body Works candle. So yeah, and I thought I thought I was gonna like Maleficent the most, and I like these both a lot actually, but I thought I was gonna like Maleficent the most. I think I actually like the Evil Queen more. And once again, I'm not big on apple fragrances, but I think this is actually really, really lovely. So tomorrow I'm gonna film a Bath and Body Works haul and just get into some really deep detail about my thoughts on the Disney villains and the ceramic candles. I know that I'm kind of late to the party on all of this stuff, but hey, better late than never. You guys know this is not exactly the channel that you come to for your breaking news. And I am unfortunately pretty slow to move on things sometimes, and I definitely was with these Disney villains, but I am excited to talk about them and get into them and to start burning them. I also placed a Goose Creek order because they just released a new fall collection that wasn't just tons and tons of gourmands. and that is kind of one of my problems with fall just in general, is that there are a lot of gourmand fragrances, but especially with Goose Creek. Goose Creek has just been going hard on the fall gourmands, and so I've been waiting a while to place another order, and finally we got a new fall collection that looked interesting to me, so I did place an order. I picked up a couple of candles from this collection, and this candle is Hoodie Season, and I haven't tried this before. It's not a new fragrance, but it will be new to me, so I wanted to give it a go. The scent notes on it are soft woods, lavender, and cozy hoodie. So I'll be excited to get the candles that I ordered from this collection in and to give them a try. And I also ordered a couple of the fall candles from this collection. This one is Bonfire Leaves, and I'm really looking forward to trying that one for the first time. The scent notes on it are autumn leaves, bonfire embers, and toasted marshmallows. So yeah, finally some fall Goose Creek candles. Enough of them now on the website, and a good I think it was 5 for $50. A decent enough sale finally convinced me to place an order, so hopefully I'll have that haul for you guys by next weekend. I've been catching up on some of my favorite reviewers, having sort of taken this week off. If you guys are interested in the Yankee Halloween fragrances, I would really recommend checking out Sarita from Coffee and Candles. She just posted a really big, I think she did a two-parter. She just posted a big two-part Yankee Candle Halloween haul, so definitely check her out. Here in Canada, we get Yankee candles in the Walmart. I haven't been into a store. I don't love going to Walmart. I never really shop there, but now that we can get Yankee candles there, I've been going in once in a while. Haven't had the chance to get in there to see if we have any of these Halloween candles yet, but I do plan on getting around to that soon. Oh, you know what? I could probably just check out online on the Walmart website to see if we've got them in stock. Anyways, I'll save all that for later. How are you guys doing? I've missed you so much. Hit me up in the comments below. Let me know what your Sunday looks like. Let me know how you have been. Let me know what kind of fall fragrances you're burning right now that you're really enjoying. I took a little bit of a break from the channel for a while. It's the first time that I've done that. I started this channel in April of 2024, and I've never taken a full week without posting a video before, and I have never skipped a weekly wax wrap up before either, but I just had no candles to really go through last Sunday, and also I was away in Vancouver. I can't really be filming a weekly wax wrap up when I'm away, so I took a little bit of a break. I really need to catch up with my friends, my family, my boyfriend. They're all doing fabulous. Got to spend a lot of quality time with some people that I don't get to all the time. So yeah, I took a little bit of a break, and honestly I think it was much needed because I was so looking forward to getting back in front of the camera and filming my weekly wax wrap up this morning. So let me know in the comments below how you've been. I've missed you guys. Let's catch up and have a chit chat. So I was in Vancouver to see Marina in the Diamonds with my friend Teddy. She is one of my favorite pop stars ever. Her new album is called Princess of Power, and it is so good. I've seen her live probably almost a dozen times now, and she just always gets better and better. For this concert, I treated us to some front row seats seats. I had never seen her before so up close. She's a really, really brilliant and talented singer-songwriter. So we just had so much fun at her show. And me and Steve went to go see Aqua on Friday night here at the Grey Eagle Casino of all places. And it was a fabulous concert. And we show up there and the opening act was Kiesza. And Kiesza is a really fantastic Canadian pop artist who I adore. And I had never had the chance to see her live before. And I did not know that she was going to be the opening act for Aqua. So talk about a fantastic surprise. She's Calgarian. She does really cool sort of disco-y, like 90s house kind of pop dance music. You might know her song. She went pretty viral a while back with her song Hideaway. It's just a hideaway, da 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 da. So good. So the opening act, Kiesza, was absolutely fantastic. And then Aqua actually really, really blew me away. I mean, you guys all know I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world. I mean, they put on an absolutely fantastic show. And I went in there thinking, like, me and Steve, we weren't really going to this concert, like, all that earnestly. Like, I think that we were both kind of expecting a little bit of a Milli Vanilli experience. You know what I mean? Like some lip syncing, like some very heavy, like singing to track. But no, everything was live. All the musicians, the vocals, the lead singer, Lena, all of her vocals were like 100% live. Like they worked it and they put on a fantastic show. Like they opened up the show with like one of their piano ballads, like a song called Aquarius. And I thought that that was a real ballsy move to like open up with like a deep cut, like piano ballad off of like their second album. But they immediately like won the crowd over with their musicianship, which quite honestly, I wasn't really expecting. And then they did all of their hits, Dr. Jones, Roses Are Red, Barbie Girl, Coming Back from Mars. I mean, they did it all. They did all of their hit songs and they were fantastic. They had the crowd up out of their seats the entire time. And I could actually tell that the band was actually really a little taken aback by sort of the response that they were getting. I mean, the energy in the room was just fantastic. It was a huge party. They sounded amazing. Like they sounded better than I think that a lot of their album tracks sound, you know, with more sort of like live musicianship happening. It was fantastic. I was really, really impressed. And it was not what I was expecting at all. I was like, no shade, Aqua. Like I really haven't followed their careers that closely or like what kind of live performers they are. I had never seen them live before, but I was really kind of expecting a bit of like a lip sync show and a lot of the dude like, come on Barbie, let's go party. But the chemistry between the band and their stage presence and the way that they just commanded the crowd was really outstanding. And like I said, you could tell that they were really kind of taken back by the audience response. And the lead singer was like tearing up and crying like at the end of the show when she was saying goodbye to the crowd. Like it was fantastic. We had a super duper night, went out and did a little bit of gambling in the casino after. Steve lost quite a bit of money. I managed to quit while I was ahead, but Steve did not get off so easy. So that's what I've been up to, folks. Just enjoying the last dog days of summer here. Like I said, it's still really hot here in Calgary. It's like 25 degrees, so I'm still burning lots of summer candles and living my best life. Thank you for bearing with me. You know, it was really nice to see that I could like leave the channel for a week and not lose all of my subscribers and everything. In fact, I actually gained a couple more and we're coming up on 2,000 subscribers pretty soon here, which I was not expecting would happen this quickly at all. I figured it would probably take me at least a year to get to 1,000 subscribers, and then I really didn't think I might ever reach 2,000 subscribers. I have new subscribers leaving comments and saying hi almost every day. Thank you so much and welcome to the circus, my dear friends. Oof, okay, I think I'll leave it there, guys. A nice, big, long, thick-alicious weekly wax wrap-up for you. Like I said, I'm going to do that Bath & Body Works candle haul tomorrow. I'm going to have some candle reviews throughout the week. I am hoping to go back to regularly scheduled programming here at All Aboot Candles for the next little while. I don't have any more work trips coming up for a while. In fact, I'm not leaving town again until next month. I'm going to England to see Lady Gaga at the O2 Arena. I'm really excited about that. So I'm going to be in town for like 2 or 3 weeks now. Back to regularly scheduled programming, candle reviews during the week, candle hauls on Saturday, and the weekly wax wrap up every Sunday. Until next time, my dear, gorgeous, and beautiful candle-loving friends, let's burn some candles and bitch about it. Thanks, folks. I'll talk to you later. Bye for now.